What's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Time Garage. Well, it's getting to be winter time, and our little Datsun 521 pickup doesn't have any heat. Doesn't have any heat because the heater core is leaking. At least I think it's a heater core. So on this episode, we're going to do our best to diagnose and or fix the heater core. So let's get rolling, because next weekend is a Cars and Coffee event that I want to take it to. So let me show you what we got. Also, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, do me a favor. Click on the little icon over there in the corner of your screen. Looks like my logo. Go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's completely free, and it really helps out my channel. So definitely subscribe. Guess since this project's not going to do itself, you may as well do it. So down here under the dash, that's the offending part. I know there were a lot of leaves and stuff in this, and but the big thing was, you can see down here on the floor where it looks like there's some staining. Well, that was antifreeze. So one of two things is happening. Either my heater core is cracked and I'm losing coolant that way. Boy, I hope that's not the case, because they don't make these anymore. Or maybe I get lucky and this valve here that goes between, that basically turns the heater core on and off, maybe that is leaking or something else. Man, I hope that's it. I think what we may do first is we may try to get the front cover off the box and kind of investigate it and just kind of see if we can find the leak. And if we can't find the leak, we may go ahead and just pull the whole box just right out of there, which that's a whole nother rabbit hole in my world, because if I'm going to pull the box out, I'm going to paint it. And then we head down that whole mess. So let's get the cover off, see what we're dealing with. I'm going to start by taking this this selector switch off, make it a note that it's turned all the way to the off position. It just has a flathead screw right there that looks like just kind of a set screw. I'll show it to you when I get it off. So I can just grab it and kind of work it out a little bit. Surely this will come out. Looks like it wants to come out now. There we go. Okay, it's just a little screw. There we go. I'll feel tons better about that. Let me put that aside and lose it. Oh wait, I'll put it up on my super cracked dash. It holds everything. Okay. What comes off next? I'm guessing this next. Yeah, this thing needs a good clean out. It's terrible. Alright. Hey, check that out. Wasp nest. Among many other fantastic things. Get this thing apart. It looks like we just pop these little things here, both sides. I'll have to pick that up later. Doesn't appear to be anything on the top. So, am I right? Can we just pry it apart? It looks like it. Alright, two hands. This is where we go too far and break the thing. Got it. Ooh. Say, that's pretty ugly right there. There's your heater core. And there is a lot of stuff. So we need to get this core out of here, don't we? I think. Because yeah, it needs to come out, because it needs to be cleaned. This is terrible right here. Not to mention, we need to figure out where our leak is and all. Let's go out under the hood. So there is my heater hose. I've already bypassed this core. Fun fact, if you decide you need to take your heater box out inside, it's these bolts right here. There's 4 of them. 1, 2, and then 2 on the bottom. You can pull those out and the whole box assembly will just kind of slide out. We may end up going there before this is over with. Basically the game is just to pull this thing out. as nasty as it is. Try not to destroy it in the process. Well, it's cleaned up, and I've got a couple of observations just right offhand. The first observation I have is, see this discoloration right through here? That looks like heat, like flame heat, like somebody been soldering right there. Also, I notice right here, I keep finding these little pieces of solder. Here's some more here. So I think this thing's been repaired once, and I'm hoping it's just maybe they didn't get it clean good or something, and maybe the repair didn't hold. Let's stick it in a bucket of water and see if we can find that leak. So I'm basically just going to hold my finger over one side and put some compressed air gently in the other side. Anywhere that's a leak should show up as bubbles. There we go, right there. Oh, there's several. Okay, one at a time. So we see one coming from here, right? Oh, look, and there's already been a repair done there. Look at that. Right here, there's already, oh, and it's just fallen off. I think our repair maybe wasn't that good. It looks like it's right here at this seam where the tank goes on. And the other one is where? The other one is right in here somewhere. Well, first things first. Let's mix up some soap and water. Spray on this thing and see if we can pinpoint it a little bit better where it's coming from. Let me get some soapy water mixed up. So we'll spray some soapy water all over the whole thing. And we'll put, I mean, very little air to it. We don't want to hurt it. So here's a little air. Oh yeah. You can see everywhere it's leaking, and it's leaking everywhere. Yeah, so pretty much everywhere the tank meets is leaking. This is not going to be something we're going to be able to fix, I'm afraid. All right, well, if it had a leak, or even 2 or 3, I wouldn't hesitate to try to solder it back together, because I think I can handle it. But given where those things are, I'm almost afraid we're going to have the ends of the tank resoldered. We're basically going to have to recore the thing, I think is what's going to happen. So I'm going to call around and see about radiator shop and getting it done, because this thing just has way too many leaks in it to even consider putting back in service like this. So I'm going to go ahead and press out the valve, and then we'll take it and have it record. So let's get the valve out of it now. Valve has a teeny screw right there, little flathead screw that's like microscopic small. You just kind of have to wiggle and work and ease it out. I don't see any way possible to lose that screw, do you? That thing is little bitty. So put that over there, and to get the valve out, we should be able to just push it out or tap it out gingerly. There. And that's what the valve is. And the reason I wanted to take the valve out is because before it goes back together, I'd like to replace this O-ring right here just to ensure I don't have a leak there. So I did some calling around, and company in Nashville called Coolant Solutions, who says they can take care of this and recore it or repair it. So we're heading up there right now. We're going to see what they have to say about it, see if they really can fix it, see if this is going to be expensive or see if this is going to be cheap. Got a feeling it's going to be a little on the expensive side, which is fine. I don't mind putting a reasonable amount of money in the truck, but I don't want to dump a ton of money into it. I've got other things that I would much rather dump money into than that. Well, I'd rather not dump money into anything if I'm being honest, but when it comes to putting big money in something, the Datsun's not high on my priority list, if you will. So we've dropped off our tank, and we're going to wait for a price quote back on it. I will say this, that was probably the nicest group of people I have dealt with in a long, long time. Just super friendly folks, talkative. It's pretty nice to find in business these days because so many times we drop things off and you're just a number and, you know, we'll get to you. But these guys were super pleasant. So hopefully they can take care of it. I'll find out later, probably later today, but you'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, some time has passed, some things have happened. The company called back. Obviously we knew that it was going to be recorded. The whole center was just pretty much just decayed to a point where there was no fixing it. So they record the thing. It cost $295, which honestly I don't think that's a bad deal considering where else you're gonna find one, right? You might find one out of a parts truck somewhere, but those are scarce. And if you do, is it any better really than what you got? Probably not. So at least now I'm gonna have heat in the little Datsun and maybe even a little bit of defrosting. We're gonna see. Also, remember earlier when I said I didn't want to pull the heater box out because of that whole rabbit hole? Yeah, I'm pulling the heater box. That whole rabbit hole is about to ensue. The fan is a little bit sticky. The fan has a little bit of drag on it, and I don't want to put it through, you know, all that work. So I'm just going to pull the heater box out. And of course, we're going to reseal it, and we're going to, you know, sand the outside, and we're going to paint it, and we're going to do all the things because that's kind of how I have to do it. Anyway. Let me show you the heater core, and then let's dive back into getting this heater box out and see if we can make something happen with this. Let's go to the workbench. Welcome to the workbench. This is our heater core all put back together and pretty looking. Pressure tested, shouldn't leak, brand new core. So now that we have that, let's get the heater box out of the truck. Well, to begin with, I've got a Phillips head screw there that should undo that cable retainer. And then I've got this super sketchy looking paper tube that I hope I don't destroy because this thing looks like it's in remarkably nice shape, like remarkably nice. Let's see if we can get that off first without hurting it. Sure enough, that was much easier than I thought it would be. All right, and there we go. I think that's all on that side. Let's go to the other side. So on this one, we have this set screw right here that binds that rod. And I guess we're going to have the same thing on that side. I just missed a minute ago, possibly. I don't know. Yeah. We'll need to get that out. And then We have, let's see, there's going to be electrical connection, but I'm hoping I can pull this thing down first before I get to the electrical connection and maybe unhook it from there. We're going to learn as we go. I am going to go ahead and take this back off of here though. I'm not sure it'll do me any good, but it can't make it any worse, can it? Yep. And there's our fan. It just doesn't spin freely as I want it to. I'll put it that way. While I'm at it, let's go ahead and get these off here too. And we'll get the lid off of it, and hopefully that will clue us in a little more on what else we need. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and knock this one right here out, and then we'll go under the hood and we'll get it loose and just see what else needs to happen. We'll just play it by ear. As discussed earlier, we've got bolt here, bolt there, and two right over here on the other side. Same location that we need to pop out of there. Well, it's loose. I assume that's all we need to take out. Yeah, that's all we need to take out. What about the wiring? How does that work? I've got a bendy tab up here on top. Just it retains them. It retains the wires. And then it looks like I've got this right here, which is the fan motor resistor. You know, that selects, that makes your fan have the speeds. So hopefully I can just pop that out of there and just leave it in the truck. Without damaging it, that is. There we go, blower motor resistor. And what do we have here? We have one power wire. It will surely break before it unplugs, right? See if I can get some pliers on it and not actually break it. Ah, there we go. Wow, that was there. Okay, let's get this out. Well, I think the first thing I want to do is I want to get this blower motor out of here. And it's held in, it looks like, with just 3 Phillips head screws down the floor of it. Because I definitely want to free that thing up if I can. If I can't, I need to investigate what it takes to replace it or get it rebuilt. Hopefully it's just sticky from sitting though. Alright. So we've got a ground strap that comes around here that we'll need to take off. And I guess all this stuff will just push through at this point. Maybe. Yep. All right. So there's our empty blower motor housing, and there is the actual blower motor itself. Question is, can we oil it or in some way make it better? It actually spins better now. Well, let's see if we can pull this thing apart maybe and clean it up a little bit or something. I assume it just pops right off this shaft. Sure looks like it does. There it comes, yeah, it's coming. Figured it would just break into a million little pieces. There it goes. All right, there's that. So I sprayed a little bit of penetrating oil in there, and it's still not that good, but I got to looking at it, and look at the side here. I almost think that you can pop this cap off of here and maybe access the bearing underneath. Wouldn't that be cool? This is the part where I destroy it. Here's that later. But I really think that's what that is. Well, update. So remember the whole prying here thing that I did? Yeah, don't do that. Turns out it breaks this hub off, and bad things happen. Instead, what you have is covering this snout, you have this this little thing that slides on there, and it's just basically just a cap. So let me walk you through how this actually works, just in case you guys ever run into this same problem. So what you'll have is the fan itself, or the motor itself, sticking through. There's the snout. You see those little tiny ridges right there. We have a washer that goes on, and then we have a snap ring that goes on. And once those are on, that holds the motor in place. So anyway, so like I was saying, you have the center shaft that goes through. There's a couple of shims, and there is the clip. All that's assembled now. And as far as the back part goes, I guess it goes without saying that you just need to make sure that it's clean and free of foreign debris. And if you see on the profile of this thing, there's these little tips that stick up on it. And those correspond with these holes in the back cover here, here, here. And literally the only thing that holds this thing together, you just line up the holes, and when you get everything lined up, it snaps together, and it's a pretty rigid, pretty solid deal there. Aside from that, you have a bearing cap, and that's about it. So before I do any putting together, I'm going to put just a touch of oil inside here, and then we'll take this, like, I guess it's just a dust cover, really, possibly. I'll use my hammer and just kind of seat it a little bit. All right, and let that be about it. So next order of business is let's plug it up, turn it on, and see exactly what we've got going on here, because I want to make sure it works before it goes back in the car, you know. The fan sounds about like it did before. It doesn't sound any worse, doesn't sound any better. So that's not bad, and it spins nice and easy. And if we stick the squirrel cage fan itself on there, no need in bolting it down, because flying fans are fun. I mean, it's moving pretty good air, and it spins down nice and, you know, nice and freely. So feel good about that. So we'll just put the nut back on it, and we're gonna send it. All right, I'm gonna set this aside, and let's pay attention to this thing. So it looks like there was some foam back in there originally that maybe sealed this up. So we'll need to replace that somehow. What else do we have going on here? This door doesn't really close all the way because it looks like it interferes a little bit with this. So I think what I might do is get a pair of pliers and maybe tweak this way a little bit so we can get it to close all the way, and then we'll try to find some type of foam. Well, it used to have some foam in here. We'll get some foam, we'll put back in here and try to make this where it seals. And let's see. And then of course we'll have to seal the heater core when it goes back in. All right, let's start by giving this thing a quick bath. I'm gonna take it to the sink and wash it, and then we'll reassess after that's done. Now that I've washed these pieces, I'm going to run around the edges, all the places that had like sealing surfaces, and just wire brush them and try to make a little bit better surface again there. Ultimately, I think we might just get a drill and do that. All right, that should help that sealing surface a little bit. I don't think the factory did this, but I think I'm going to put some kind of a sealer, maybe a weather strip or something in this. Maybe not, I don't know. Nah, probably not. It fits extremely tight, so maybe there's not an issue there. Okay, yeah, I won't worry about that. So I have a sealing surface here, and that's really about it. These seal. Okay, yeah, I think that might be the big deal right there. Of course, I need to get the inside cleaned up where the heater core used to be, so we can get that guy back in there and figure out exactly how we're going to make it seal in there, since none of its potting solution or whatever it was is in there anymore. I mean, pretty simple, it goes in like that, but we got to do something to keep it from rattling and acting a fool in there. I think I'm just going to use regular old foam weather strip to seal it up and keep it from rattling both, possibly. Also, I'm going to go over this whole thing with this brush, just to kind of knock the high points off of it. Then I'm going to come back over it with a little bit of light sandpaper, and I'm going to take it out there and shoot it. Just grabbed a little bit of 320 here, and I'm just going to kind of knock it down and sort of smooth it a little bit, but I want to be really careful with this decal here. I don't want to mess it up. I'll have to tape it off before I paint it. All right, sanded, and I masked it off. Step out there and shoot it with some paint. We're using this engine enamel. This is a semi-gloss, but I've also got a low gloss. If I don't like this, I may shoot it with a low gloss. Let's just find out what this even looks like. All right, so I've got the fan motor back in there, and I put some foam back in there in the back to try to help seal it up as best I could. There's only so much you can do with it just because of how it is. See what I will do though. I'm going to take this blower motor off of here, or this squirrel cage fan off of here, so I can reach back here and push my wires through. There's a little grommet back there in the back that the wires go through. So should be able to just push those through. There and there. There we go. There they are through the back. Beautiful. And we'll put our fan back on. I'm not going to go too crazy tightening this because this is pretty old and delicate plastic, this fan blade. I just don't want to kill it. So, in an effort to over test, I want to just go ahead and check it out in the box, make sure things run. And they do. All right. So the next thing is going to be putting the actual core back in it. So what I have done with the heater core is I've put some weather strip. The weather strip looks like this. You can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's or pretty much any hardware store. I've just stuck it on the sides, and hopefully we can just kind of wiggle it back down into the housing, and wow, like that. Good. Yeah, so that's that. Also, on the bottom of this door here, I put the same stuff so that when it does close, it has a better chance of sealing. So we can, I'm trying to get better defrost because these things are notorious for having pitiful defrost. And looking at this air box, I mean, there's just tons of places for it to leak. It's not sealed up very well at all. Like this big hole back here where the blower motor resistor goes, there was pretty much nothing there. So I'm going to try my best to get it as sealed up as I can possibly get it, and hopefully we'll have a little bit better defrost when it's all said and done. Okay, so there's the heater core back in it. This is the paint job that I ended up with on the thing. You can see a few fish eyes in there because, let's face it, I didn't clean it very well. So we have a couple of clips. Go in place. And the only thing I'm trying to decide is whether or not, yeah, I think I should. I'm going to put some foam strips on that part of it as well. In fact, I've got a couple of extras just laying here that I might just use. Let's try those. This stuff is less than sticky. It's just the stuff that you buy for, like, I guess air conditioners or whatever. Again, big box store, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. But hopefully that will give a little bit of sealing going on there. And with those, maybe we'll end up with a good sealed unit here. All right, let's give that a try. Let's see how it blows and how it feels. I got pretty good air coming out there. And when I close this up, yeah, I've actually got really good air coming out. I really don't feel any leaks. And when I open this up, then of course I have really good air out of that coming through the core. All right, I'm good with that. Also, I'll tell you something else I did. This door here is a little bit, it's not very sturdy. And since the cable only pulls on this side, when the door pulls closed, well, you see what's going on there. This side's open more than that side. It's because I tweaked it. So when this side pulls tight, you know, I have a little bit more seal going on. You can see I'm pushing pretty tight on it here, and that side's still a little bit floppy. So tweaking that door hopefully will help when I close this thing, help seal it off some. We'll see. This right here is the fresh air intake, I think up from the cowl. You can see how it's all split and it's real touchy. I used some Q-Bond on that to repair that. It was torn all the way down through here. So I repaired it inside and out. If you've never used Cubon before, I have it in another video. I'll drop a link down there. It's basically kind of like a plastic powder and super glue kind of thing. You know, you get it wet with super glue, you sprinkle the powder on there, and it smokes and dries immediately, and it's hard as a rock once it's done. Not flexible, but I just need to be able to get this thing back in there one more time and hopefully never, ever, ever again have to take it out. All right, what's next for us, you think? I know that the fan motor had a ground point right here, so I'm going to clean that up and we'll ground it. And just a little touch of grounding. I think really the only thing left to do is go back there, put it in the truck, and finish up the last couple little things that's got to be done on it. I'm excited. I believe this thing goes like so. No. I think it turns backward like this. Yep. Like this. Just want to be very careful and not break that thing. Because I'm sure you can't just go pick them up at Walmart. Okay, I guess really the only thing left to do now is just kind of get it put back in place-ish. I will move the speaker wire out of the way and go ahead and plug up the fan motor. There we go. So close, it's so far away. Boy, that is a much tighter fit than I remember it coming out of there. We're going to have to pop this off, and yeah, that's what it is. It has to be a part to go up in there, I guess. Okay, I'm good with that. There we go. Move everything out of the way that resembles wires. Now the only problem is going to be getting the heater core fed through the firewall. There we go. Okay, nobody move. It's barely in there. Let's go under the hood. Alright, I guess the next thing we'll do is hook up this door here. I had to end up taking the screws out of this in order to get it completely free. Got that rod adjusted so that actually works now. Tightened up. Next thing will be this paper hose that I desperately don't want to mess up. I love that they're original to the truck. Definitely don't want to screw that up. Also, here is the speaker wire that I'm pretty sure is not the original speaker wire. I'm going to do something interesting with it when I'm done with this little project. I need to probably go ahead and plop an end or two on it, but I'm going to zip tie those up there where they're out of the way and you can't see them, because the radio works really well in the little truck. Alright, there's that, kind of, for a minute. Alright, I guess the next thing, we need to go over there and hook up that side and hook up that cable, and we can try it out. Those things are stiff and they just feel like they just really want to break. I really don't want them to break. There's that. And this is a lot like the throttle cable on your lawnmower. It just slides in there like that. And we try our best and get a screwdriver in there, but there's not a whole lot of room to do so. Let's see what we've got here. So this is all the way closed, so I need to pull this thing up really, really tight, extra tight. There we go. Now, open, closed, and it's not really that closed, is it? I think what needs to happen, I think I need to loosen it just a little bit and maybe snug it up just a touch. Like that right there. That will hopefully overdo it. Yeah, that's not bad. Not going to be a perfect seal, but it's as good as you're going to get with that design. Okay, there's that. Next thing we need to do is put the fresh air intake on it. Here we go. Amazing that it went in that quick. That screw doesn't tighten up very much. I think it probably goes into some little bitty threads here. We'll have to see what to do about that, if anything. I don't want to risk messing with this because I know it's kind of like a really brittle plastic like Bakelite or something. So I don't want to get too crazy with that. Elsewise I'll be putting a weird knob on there that doesn't fit the truck. Swipe that down, pull the truck outside where it is brutally cold. Give it a try. That's what we got going on. About 110-degree air coming out of the dash. Not bad at all. Matter of fact, if I open this down here, it's even better. I mean, it's a lot of nice warm air coming out of here. So I think that's fixed. Also, you hear that exhaust leak up there? Yeah, we're gonna fix that too. I'm tired of that. So guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for this episode. Hey, listen, do me a favor, if you haven't already subscribed, appreciate it if you do that. Down there in the corner of the screen, you'll see my icon. Anyway, appreciate you sticking with me on this. Pretty easy thing, but made a huge difference for me. I know it's getting warm in here. That's what I was after. Next project we're going to tackle on this truck is probably going to be the dashboard. Back to sewing and stitching and all that stuff. You know, stuff I'm not that good at. So anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about us. Guys, I'll see you next time.